Kai du se du tere abohan du se.
Oh, hi.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much to all of you. Just a short introduction about myself. I speak the Click language, ṭNū-khoë. I am living here in Namibia. I am referred by our people, other people refer to us as Damaran, but we refer to ourselves as ṭNū-khoë. So this country, you'll read about the history of the country, and we have quite a wealth of resource, but I think in the world we are one of the most unequal countries that people ever come across, challenged by poverty, and not because the country can't afford us. We are just 0.2 million Namibians in the last 40 years. We have been, when I remember, we have been 1.5 million, and then I remember we came 2.2 million, and now we're standing at 3.5. So we are really a small citizenry with a beautiful 2 times Germany country. Yeah. And then with us, I am a child from the Thomas, that's the mountains in the east. So I'm a child from Thomas. My great-grandmother is Haretas Koesekwabe, is my great-grandfather. So yeah, I'm very connected still to them to this day. As much as May 2021, I visited them, and it was a very beautiful experience. They have sent me 3 ostriches, but I think Jessica can talk about that and show you that much more. And then lots of things happened afterwards. Very much, the message was very clear about what is happening in the country, and the call it the pandemic, and also what will happen in our family and in the country. So people need comforting, embracing. That was the message. And that's where I am. I am currently working to take care of the children, like my brother from Mongolia. I'm having a children's home that was started already in 1999, and it is in the urban city. So it started at my house, but I managed to build an independent home for the children. So we are now at the moment taking care of 19 children, both boys and girls, different abuse issues. Yeah. And so with that, the program, the children are taken care of by us, but then the posting of the children is done by government and government social workers. So it is a very well registered and accepted program, intervention, I must say. So with that, I lived a bit in the urban. The organization that I'm operating from is Women Solidarity in Namibia. The organization was started way back in 1989 to address the question of violence against women and children. So 2010, we started to see that we need to bring in our men. So we now are having both our women and our men and our children in the organization. Good. So with that, I went around the country to talk about violence. But I realized that how long shall we just talk about violence and how we are being abused and all that, instead of maybe moving to a more practical situation. So what happened with me was I found our medicine in the forest. Of course, we had a big drought in 2017, 2018. And 2019, the first rains came a little bit. And then when I went into the forest, I found about 3 of the medicinal plants that I used to know when I was a little girl. So I started to harvest them. And then when I went to the farm, they were also there. So basically, when I picked on this tree, it is a herbal tea. So I started to drink myself. It was long ago that we don't drink it, so I was very excited about it. So I dried it, and I was drinking. And so 2016, after I came back from the Global Eco-Village Network, it dawned to me that not only should I drink, there was a night when I was out, and then it was saying you need to protect this species. And so when I along that was on the farm. So I said, but how do I do this? And the rest tells now the story that I started the garden, and the garden was initially not of the plants. So in order to come to the herbal plants, I needed to do food security. So I only thought it was on our farm where we live. And so I started the garden on the farm 2016. 2017, other women were calling on me to expand the garden, because the whole of 2016, the little bit of what you have seen on the picture where we are harvesting and where we are sitting, that 2016 harvest was given to communities, the immediate community where we live, because we said we must first eat and then we must sell the surplus. So it was us eating and then the community. And with this, the whole expansion happened. And when this happened, it was very clear that people were interested. They wanted to buy, they wanted also gardens. So what we did then was, every time when we do outreach, we went to the women and where we were in the villages. So with our outreach talking about violence, we would say, can you start a small garden? And then we would work in the morning in the garden, and from 11 to 1 or 11 to 4, we will talk around violence issues and struggles about whatever. And afternoon, we would have the garden again. So with that, it became clear that people needed to go back Gù-oadara, to walk back to the ancient practices. But when all this were happening, I was going into meditation. I was going into connection with the ancestors. Let me quickly see if I can switch on. It's getting quickly dark now. Yeah, it's better. Because now the reflection. Ooh. Oopsie doopsie. Yeah. So I was going on, and then it became very clear that a message to say it's not much more. Eating healthy, living healthy, and also having the old styles of being like our ancestors. And the biggest question was coming, why don't we live anymore over 70 years? Why do we die so early? What has happened? What has changed in our lifestyles? And so as I was pondering with these questions, it came clear that you have to start a place, Gù-oadara. Then this place, usually, just a little story around that is, in our community, when you work in the urban area, yeah, when you are in the urban area and you have trouble, people would say maybe you have a mental illness. Sometimes they say you have become insane. The elders were always saying, bring the child back to me. They were saying, bring the child back to me, bring the child back to us, bring the child so that we can see the child. I think I must go into another room. It's getting much darker here. The lights are not so good. Yeah. So they would say, bring the child for us. And when they say, bring the child, what would happen to that child who is now so-called mentally disturbed was they would nurse you. Even if you are the adult child, they would nurse you, they would give you medicine, they would sing to you, they would massage you, they would really, really bring you back with the elders in the communities and make you drink from the herbal medicine. Like I have here so many collections of medicine in my house. They're just boxes and boxes, that medicine, and they would talk to you, and you don't really need the brain tranquilizers. You became well, you become laughed again, you remember the memories of the forest, and you get well. So that is how it happened, that it is very important that you start the healing space, I was told. So when I said, okay, I will agree to start the healing space, but I don't know how, where. So then the land was provided for. I used to have another place where I go as a sacred space, but it was not that space. So it's a pity me and Jessica were trying to capture and send you the spots and the area, but I think it will come so that you can see the places. So that was the place. It is there. So I went for, since now 2010, I think, I go back and forth to that space. I talk to the space. The children are going there. When the rains come, it becomes very beautiful. It's next to the mountain. And so we have prepared. And this space will bring the old women that used to massage our bodies back. It will bring them to life. This space will bring us in touch with Mother Earth and connect us to be healthy, so that at least the question can be answered of why can't you live beyond 70? Because our intake of food, our intake of very strong fluids like drugs, like very much alcohol, and so is really damaging us. So this space will become your new cycle, our new cycle of walking back into our own health and into our own culture. So the center now is also going to treat the many other gardeners out there. We have many gardeners now. We will send you, as we go during the 16 days, to all these gardeners. We have the school invigorating and greening scheme in the south, and that is just bringing them to life, greening them. And then we have the riverside program garden in the west. We have up in the north, we have many small community gardens, and we will be gathering even on the 9th of December, all of us. So from those gatherings, the people will be attending once the center is up to be in the healing center in Gù-oadara, so that from what they do, their spirit, their soul can also be healed. But also for them to remember the old memories and to know the old tales of our people. And that is to build another pillar where they can hold on. Namibians at the moment are very numb. There is a high level of suicide. There is a very high level of violence. We are closing the year with that new phenomenon of violence, but the violence is very much geared towards the women, the children, but also self-inflicting. The men commit suicide after killing their wives or after killing their children. So I can see that there is a lot of pain. So with the gardens, that's our initial walk towards peace and towards self-recognition of healing. And then the center is a space somewhere in the countryside that we can sit once together around the fire and watch the moon and talk with the moon when women come of age, or watch the moon, because what our elders have done is to gain energy from the full moon, So there could be some parts. Also then sit around the fire in the circle to be able to look at each other's eyes and to again recognize, so this was your great-grandfather, great-grandmother, and therefore here you are, a child of so and so, so that that can again instill the strength and identity and the confidence for our people. So how best can we, besides the talk about you have the rights, you have children's rights, you have all this, the law has been given, what can we do? So that's what we are trying to do once the center is up, to bring them into small camps to say, here you are, this week or these 3 days, we will be working together, we will be talking to each other, we will remember who is the beautiful person that you have been connecting when you were small. And most of the time, it is our great-grand or grandpeople. So that can start to make us softer and make us again a little bit human, back into our space, call us back into our mother's arms, but also just our worthiness when we were born. We have beautiful traditional ways when you treat children. And that is the ones that I want to bring back, because a boy or a man will remember that. He will remember the powder. I want to quickly show you. He will remember the powder. Jessica had the opportunity to find the powder. And I think that is something that we want to do with our purpose. You see?
The tortoise shell. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
I remember that.
Inside there is a little soft skin. So you get touched by that. And the tortoise skin carries a powder that smells very beautiful. And that's, instead of the tranquilizers that the mental hospital gives, that's a smell that also really softens you. So you stay in 3 days, and if you want, you come back and you get really touched by the shell. Then we have this one. This is the one where the beautiful medicine is in, and you get wrapped with that. And they wrap you, massage you, and then they really, it's there. There is the medicine. It smells very beautiful, like coconut almost, but then that's the things that you can remember and go and find the softness, especially when our men have, and our boys, we introduce them already that all is not lost. Here we are, and you can come back and get the treatment. It will be in its original form. It would not be treated in a commercial way, tourists coming and seeing, but it would be a very participatory, very inclusive, and very real sacred experience at the Healing Center. Yeah.
I am really so grateful with our people and in the belief we have. We say, "Ngahure inike," let it be, it will happen. So don't hold the dream, let it be. Dream it and it will happen. And I can see I have not let go since 2010 of the dream and just the little pieces. And now those pieces are really getting together. I'm really grateful for all of you. It sounds like it's so many people. And I'm really, really very grateful. I can feel the energy with many ears and many hearts listening to me. So I want to say good night. Thank you, Jess, for making it possible. I am feeling that we don't say Wederziens, ons sê kan kans. And that's maybe why I also feel that there's so many ears and so many hearts listening to us today. Thank you so much.
I will spread the word.
Yeah. Nek ma bai mau dere idan mau sa mure ai a hue ha kwe da kom mo he